Hello and welcome to the Universal Navigation Design Training for Online Learning. The Universal Navigation Design, also known as UND, is a course shell in Blackboard that will be used for all Internet and hybrid courses starting fall 2018. This UND will be mandatory for all Internet and hybrid classes starting fall 2018 and beyond. To be clear, you still control the content of your course, but there will be a standard course organization and button names for the menu on the left-hand side. This design incorporates the online learning course standards, so if you have already adopted those in your courses, much of this will look familiar. This was designed with the students in mind so they can more easily navigate online courses, instead of every course in Blackboard being arranged differently and with different menu names as it is now. When students log into Blackboard, there will be consistency in how they navigate their online courses and easily find their coursework and information they need. Retention rates are lower for Internet classes as face-to-face classes, so there is a real need for universal design and a standard enrollment verification. Let's begin with course copy. This has been the #1 question from faculty, how this design will affect your course copy. First, you'll want to request a UND master from Online Learning for each course you teach. Then you will perform your course copy the same way you do now, but the trick is to match your menu buttons to the UND. So you will want to rename your buttons before you do the course copy to match the UND standard. For example, if you use assignments, but the UND button is coursework, you'll want to change assignments to coursework before you do the copy. Your content will then feed directly into coursework and avoid duplicate folders. Otherwise, you will have both an assignments button and coursework button. If you don't change the names beforehand, you'll just have more cleanup and moving of content to do afterwards. And once you do this initial transition and get your master set up correctly, you'll have an easy course copy moving forward. Now let's take a closer look at each of these menu buttons. First is the ever-important enrollment verification at the top. EVs are used to calculate FTE, so it's crucial to have students do this. We've learned from past experience that using discussion boards and assignments are not the best method, so we now have a standard EV built in that you will get with your master. It's a syllabus quiz that consists of 7 questions that you will need to edit to fit your class. You can add your own questions and delete these, but you will need to use a syllabus quiz as your EV. Again, this is to help with retention. If a student starts the quiz and doesn't finish, they are still counted in the class. If a student takes the quiz and fails, they are still counted in the class. The quiz is a very cut and dry way to show that the student is in the class. You decide whether the quiz counts toward their calculated grade total or not, but the syllabus quiz will need to be used for both Internet and hybrid classes. Once the census date passes, you will need to hide the enrollment verification button. To do this, you'll just click on the down arrow beside it and click Hide Link. Once the enrollment verification button is hidden, announcements will go to the top. Announcements are a way to communicate with your class regularly. Here is a template for you to use, or you could certainly use your own. Please keep in mind that the UND was designed for a range of instructors, including those that are new to teaching. So for some of you veteran instructors, these helpful hints we've added throughout the design you may already know and are doing. We recommend that you post announcements once a week, but you could certainly do more if you wanted. This helps keep the student engaged and informed about the class while adding a personal touch to those Internet classes. Next, getting started lets the student know exactly what they need to do to get started in the class. This information includes enrollment verification, syllabus, textbook information, and any other important information they need to know. Also included in this section is a contingency plan that tells the student what to do when technology fails. The plan here is taken from an ACA course, so you're welcome to adopt it to your class if you need to change it. Below it is Netiquette, which opens to a web page with proper etiquette for online communication. The next section is course information. In course syllabus, you'll make available your course syllabus, but in this design it will be available in 2 different ways. In this first section, you'll upload your syllabus document, whether that's a Word document, PDF, a link to a Google Doc, or whatever type of document you use. Underneath that, you'll have it displayed in sections or in chunks that will serve as a quick reference for students. For example, if the student needs to check the attendance policy, he or she can quickly find it here. You will simply copy the text from the syllabus and paste it in here in these sections. So it's just a matter of copying and pasting from your syllabus. Note your sections may be different from what is here, and that's fine. You just make it match your syllabus. Next, course schedule is a list of important dates in your class. This can be displayed several different ways. It could simply be written text here in Blackboard. It could be a Word document, Excel sheet, PDF, or some other type of document. Or you could embed a Google Calendar. You would create a calendar for each course, and the directions are here on how to embed that calendar in Blackboard. Any changes you made to your Google Calendar during the semester would automatically be updated here, since it is fed here from your Google Calendar. Please feel free to contact Online Learning if you have questions about this. Next is the Instructor Contact button. This is very straightforward. This just lists information about you and how to contact you. You can also add some bio information as well as a picture. All you need to do is come up to the arrow beside Instructor Contact Information and click Edit to enter your information. The next section is Course Materials. Here is the heart of the course and where students will go to do any work for the class. In the Coursework button, create folders to organize your content. It's up to you to decide what you call these folders. For example, Week 1, Unit 1, Module 1. However, we want you to be consistent with the name, so whatever you decide to call it, stick with that label throughout the semester so you'd have Week 1, Week 2, Week 3, etc. Inside each of these folders, students will find all the coursework that is required of them for that time period. That would include any assigned readings, tests, videos, assignments, etc. It's a good idea to include multimedia and internet classes to break up the text and also address different learning styles. Just be aware that if you use videos, images, screencasts, or any other kind of multimedia, there is an ADA component that you will need to address. If it's videos, you'll need to make sure the video is correctly closed captioned. If you use an image, you'll need to add an alt text to the image. If you have questions about this, you can contact Online Learning. Blackboard itself is ADA compliant. It's what you put into Blackboard, including Word documents, Excel sheets, videos, images, etc., that we need to ensure meets ADA standards. For discussion boards, we have a button on the left-hand side under Course Materials. Here you can house all your discussion boards. You can also choose to put them in your coursework as a course link in the appropriate content area. So if you've got an icebreaker in Week 1, you could put the discussion board in here. You can also have it in the discussion board button. It's good practice to have them in both places. By having them also linked in the navigation menu, students can return easily to them and engage with students, go back and write responses, so it's good practice to have them in both places. So next we have the external course link, and this is a placeholder for any third-party publishing content that you need to link to for your course. This could be MyLabs Plus, Pearson Products, McGraw-Hill. However, the trend now is that those publishers are integrating their content back into Blackboard, so you may not need this button at all. That third-party content could be integrated directly into your coursework folders. If you do use this external course link, you can rename this to match whatever the link is called. The final section is Student Resources, where students will find helpful tool links. This section is completely done for you, so you don't need to make any adjustments unless you want to add some additional student help resources. First is the Grades tool link. This just links to My Grades and informs the student on their progress, grades, and upcoming due dates. Next is the Email tool link. This is also part of the online course standards and gives the students the ability to email the instructor as well as classmates. The next button is Student Help Resources. Here, students will find a link that takes them to a directory of available campus resources and descriptions. Of course, if you have additional resources that will be helpful to students, you can add those in this section. The final button is a Faculty Help Resources, and this is a resource for you. This button is hidden from students. It also goes to a link to a page that is maintained by Online Learning with help documents broken down by categories. So, if you have a question about Grade Center, click on that category and it's broken further down into subcategories so you can go to a specific area. That is the Universal Navigation Design for all online and hybrid classes starting fall 2018. If you want to start using it before then, you just need to request a master from Online Learning. Thank you for listening, and let us know if you have any questions about incorporating your classes into the Universal Navigation Design.